So here we are, starting at the base computer here where things really begin. Um, I'm not in photography mode just simply for the fact there's so much here to look at. We're just going to quickly have a quick peek at what he's got here, what he calls the bees. They're here tending to what looks like a little garden, and he's done a really amazing job with little robots that he's made. Let's take a closer look at them here because it's really awesome. He's got like little feet and wings, and even a little face, and he's used multiple parts blended together here, and it looks really, really awesome. In photography mode, it doesn't look like this is moving at the time, but that little component there actually moves. Let's pop out and take a look. Oh, it's because for whatever reason it's not powered at the moment. Obviously, he's got the power turned off. But yeah, all the little components move, including this little piece here, and it's really, really cool how these little robots function. Let's go and take a look at the upper portion of his base. So let's just head over here. This is what gets you where you need to get to get your socks blown off, or in this case, your pants. There he is running around, man of the hour. I want to take a quick moment here and have a look at this. This is really amazing here what he's got, this phasing of the flags. Really amazing stuff here. I like how he did that, and a very simple technique of using his different components in the game to do this without even glitch building it. So this is where we took the interview. Here's that angled windows that we talked about, which is just amazing. That's going to have to be next on my list of things to learn. And let's go take the tour. So here we are in the upper portion of the hive where the hive itself is. And it's really awesome up here. I'm just going to pop into photography mode multiple times as we move around the base. This is truly an amazing place, what he's done here. I mean, look at this. The lighting, just on simple things, completely blows my mind. Wow, let's just come down here and take a quick peek at some of the stuff he's got around the hive, the main portion of the hive here. His use of plants in and around the structures that are all computer-based, very biomechanical, and it gives you the sense that there's a ton of power is generated here just by using the lights and what looks like even stairs in such a creative fashion. It looks just fantastic. Again, we were talking about the electromagnetic generators and the graphics they show. It's not possible unless you've got power, and you can see it clearly here with the power moving and the ports and parts and everything. It's really awesome how it all works together and makes it look so much better. Other parts of the hive over here. This is one of my favorites as well. This one was featured in one of the photographs in the member feature in the Amino. This particular picture, I'm going to get real close so you can see this. What he did here is really amazing, and it takes a real artistic eye to see this before you could even make it. What looks like a glass corridor with things glitched inside of it in a way that looks like this perfectly sealed little biodome just for radiated plants or plants that need to be protected in an enclosed area here, like a tank. It's unbelievable. Wow. I'm blown away at this. And he's got another one around the other side over here. He's got like plants glitched together. It looks really awesome. Look how he's done that. The selenium and the gravitino orb. That's just one small example of some of the amazing work. I mean, look at the side walls and the graphics. I spent a couple of minutes just looking at this earlier before we recorded an interview. I never even noticed this in the game, even out in the field when these things are out there doing their thing, mining, and I think are these the mining units or are these the feed units? Um, but look, I mean, just look at that graphic, and he's used it perfectly along the walls here to give the essence of power and motion and electricity moving around the entire place. Look at them all. All right, let's move on because there's just so much detail in what he's done here. We saw that one. That's the main one, and there's one more down here. Here we go. Okay, so for this part, I'm going to actually go exit photography mode. There he is. Hey, K-Dog. I'm blown away here, dude. Let's see if we can get into this part here. This part was having a difficult time rendering earlier. Nope, it's not letting me through.
It's too bad. I'm sorry to interrupt here, and thank you for all the compliments. Yeah, this is the one issue with the base now that I wasn't having before. People were able to enter, and unfortunately, there's a really cool bunch of things down here.
It still might open. Yeah, give it a chance.
Yeah, I will. I'll hang out here. I was being quiet while you were walking around, but then I heard you having some problems here, so I figured I would come in and try to see if it would render in.
That's okay. Give it a minute. It did earlier. It takes, you know how with the game sometimes there's just so much for it to render. It takes a moment or two for it to sort of recognize it. So it may pop back, and if it does, we'll take a flying leap right on in there and have a look. Because that was like the final component, which was really amazing in there, and the detail that you put into it was. It just blew my socks off the last time. You know, and I'm looking around the base here, and it's just so much detail. Like, I don't even know how many lights that you put in around these stairs, you know, to give this effect, but it is just awesome. Like, it really gives you the right mood to the whole room and the facility that you created here. Like, it just the simple things, you know.
Thank you.
It just gives it everything. I look at some of my own builds and I kind of shake my head and like, God, what am I thinking? All I had to do was put a couch or a chair in there, and yet you've put so much time and effort into all of the detail. It just takes you to a whole other world.
Thank you.
And it makes you feel like it's possible.
It is possible, and it's just a question of trying to think outside the box a little bit, and you know not being afraid to just experiment and making a mistake. There's no such thing. It's always happy little mistakes.
Yes.
Happy little accidents.
Yeah, and they happen all the time. Sometimes you just you got to test it out, and that's something that's not talked of enough of in the game is using the creative account, for more than just getting around for free or not having to do the grind. There it goes. Let's make a run for it. Let me in. Let me in. We're in. Switching the camera. Nice. I'm going to switch the camera while I'm stuck in the wall. I don't care. This is what we were talking about. Look at the detail in here. Oh, amazing, dude. Another phasing. Yeah, with a phasing wall here with the flags, which looks just fantastic. I love how you've done that. I'm going to have to incorporate that into some of my builds. I just absolutely love that. You've got these, I don't even know what you call them. Oh, look, I am floating. That's too funny. These really cool things encased in glass here, and it's not just encased. You've got these windows turned vertically up, and it's given it a really awesome look. How you've done this. It looks like a machine inside, or some kind of a mining machine. Like
the Atom Smashers, the one on either side.
I don't even know what part this is in the game.
There's 3 different parts. That would be the deep core miner, the EM generator, and the short-range teleporter. And I believe there is 2 of each of those items, if not
all merged together.
Yeah, all merged together.
Wow, like that's just and you can see the symmetry too, right? Where there's a center to it and everything fans out. Yeah, and the graphics and everything. It's just unreal.
That was all done. Everything you see in here was all done pre-Blender glitch discovery. It was all placement, wire glitch, the basics that we had in the beginning of and beyond.
Which makes it even more interesting and amazing is that you did this before the Blender glitch was possible, and it still is amazing. Like it just looks totally amazing in here. Here's the main power
Thank you,
facility right
thank you.
here, where you've got multiple of the EM
Oh, the short range.
electromagnetic. Well, no, you've got the electromagnetic
There's two.
generator,
Yeah.
and then as I'm sort of stuck in the walls a little bit here. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, you've used the teleporters up here, and
For the
oh,
wire. Yeah.
wow. Okay, that's and then another one upside down. It looks like. So you blended the two together. Wow, dude, I'm super super impressed how this looks.
Thank you.
And the biofuel generators. Oh man, this is just amazing stuff, dude. I'm stuck in the walls, but
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
I'm trying to get out
I
so I
know
can
it's
make
looks
the
great, but
video look good.
you get trapped in the walls.
Yeah, I just want the video
Um,
to look good.
yeah,
That's all, because this is just too good to not, show
yeah.
people and to share this. I'm
Well,
completely blown away with the work that you've done here. This is
thank you, thank
truly
you.
amazing.
Really appreciate that. There's so much, and to me, it's I see some other builders out there, the ones that I've been mentioning, and I'm blown away by what they do, and I look at mine and go, but we all do that. We're all
There's
our own
so
worst
much
critics.
creativity, and we all,
Yeah.
I think that goes with the artist in us, in all of us,
Mm-hmm.
is, we're never really fully satisfied with our own work.
Yep.
Um, as somebody once said to me, it's hard to put the pencil down.
Yeah.
Because you can just keep filling in the spots and keep filling it
Yep.
in, and you can
Add
overdo
detail.
it, yeah,
Yep.
or and then you could give up and it just be never fully complete. So it's not that it's underdone, it's unfinished or it's overfinished to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, and that's a really hard part to know when to stop. I don't know if you knew when to stop here, but this is just incredible. Um,
Actually, the game told me when to stop here. There, quite honestly, it's actually rendering better than it has, except for that bit of terrain that you were dealing with. That's actually more of a newer problem. But yeah, the game basically was like, yeah, you need to not do anymore, which was kind of a bummer because there was some finite details I wanted to put in. The last bits of decorative, pipe work and a little bit more lighting and a few other elements. Um, but again, the game was like, no, you should probably not do that.
it's pretty amazing. Like
Thank you.
how you've made it all like anybody could have just put just a simple little thing down here, but you put like bunch of things all together to
Yeah.
come up with a really amazing thing that A is unique and B nobody can ever recreate it.
Oh,
It's
sure. People
truly
recreate my
unique.
things all the time. I've seen people recreate my bee, for example, recently on Reddit.
Really.
Somebody brought it to my attention. Yep, they watched my stream because I showed how to do it.
And then they did it.
And then
Wow.
they did it. And then they built another little, mechanical type beetle thing next to it. So it was nice to see him branch off of, start with what I initially showed people and that technique, but then to take that framework or that scaffolding and then branch from that and expand on it. And, that's why I just showed the bee and not anymore. Like, here's how I made the bee. Here's the framework. This is the basic technique of how I got these parts to blend together. Now use this idea and expand upon it. Create your own droid, from this basic technique. Um, but yeah, I love seeing when people,
It's pretty
uh, you
awesome.
know, I, I pull from other builders all the time for inspirations. Once you get the glitch building techniques down, that's the easy part. The hard part's the creativity.
What I see is one of the hard parts is this glass floor in a circular fashion. That's something that has not come easy to building is a glass round floor.
No,
You've
and
done it here, and it's
people,
pretty awesome.
People really helped out with that recently in one of our dual streams, where he actually got even more of a circular floor going. This flooring is actually more of a pattern that was done using a triangle with a smaller triangle in it, and then adjacency to the glass floor panel. But just knowing where to place that small triangle where it didn't red state or bump into something else, and then just moving to that same corner as you went around. And again, that was just me throwing parts around and experimenting,
Yeah.
to try to fill in this odd shape that I had created.
Yeah, I
And
ran into that roadblock myself when I first learned to do the circle, the new style circle that is
hmm
using the dome. I thought, oh, I'll just do that with the floor, the glass floors, and that I ran into that problem very quickly that you can't just do it as easily because the adjacency glitch doesn't work the same
right,
with those floors. But you seem to have gotten it to work here using the triangular pieces, and so
right,
that's another learning curve I'm going to have to figure out, which is
yeah,
how to make that happen. This is
yeah.
really
And
incredible. I'm
this
blown away.
build, thank you very much. This build turned into actually an exercise in uh, a lot of things for me. I heard you earlier as you were walking around, and again, I apologize for jumping in on your tour here.
Oh, not at all.
Um,
It's all about you.
but I thought I might help, explain some of the things that are here. Even just the shape of these windows and this little pass-through that you're standing in. If you take a closer look at the shapes, are pretty interesting. Um,
Which window are you
but
referring to? Oh, on the
right
floor.
to your left and right, no, to your left and right where you're standing. Like if you just look up at the
Oh,
shapes,
yeah.
how the in these pass-throughs, both here and on the other side.
Yeah.
But like I heard you talking about how the gas extractors and how that was pumping through and it made it look like that, things were flowing through the base.
Yes.
So in combination with the angled windows that you like here, when you angle these windows out, you actually create a weird V-shaped gap. So I had to figure out how to fill that gap in. So I started looking at the parts and the shape that I had to fill, realized that this might work and also look like, an interesting element, a moving another thing to keep, the base from being static. Um, so that when you walk into it, it's not just a shell, of a structure. There's actually things going on inside, talking about the detail.
Yeah.
Um, but to try to get those gas extractors to follow that same angle and fill that gap
That's not
turned
easy.
into turned into an exercise in how do I do that and make it an even sort of thing. And it took me hours. I actually had to tear down all the windows, all the gas extractors that I had put in initially, and redo it all.
That doesn't
Like,
surprise me. I ran
Um,
into a similar roadblock when I was designing the transmission broadcast tower dish that I made. One of the first glitch builds that I learned. And what I found was getting that angle for any of the extractors or the EMP was difficult because it's not, when you lay that wire down, it wants to go perpendicular to
mm,
how you lay it. But if you angle it, angular adjust it or adjust it in an angular fashion, you can change that,
yeah,
but not all parts are equal. And so I
right.
would get that angle, yeah. So I would get that angle, and it would be great. And then I go to put the next piece in at that same angle, using the same glitch point, and it's backwards or not, like completely different. The two parts in particular for me was the water moonroof,
Yep,
that thing,
the moon pool,
the moon pool, and the EM I always
EM
say it wrong.
generators. Yep,
EMP, EM generators, EMGs.
the electromagnetic
Yeah,
generator. Yes.
they don't follow the same line when you glitch them together. And so that part was that, oh, for hours I fought with that. And then I finally got it, and I was afraid to change anything. I made a hard save real quick.
Well, a good rule when creating your own snap points is when you're using a switch or a light or another thing that has an electrical outlet on it, you're going to notice a flashing light. And if you look at this gas extractor right here, for example,
hmm
the light is down near the bottom.
Yeah,
So whatever part that you're going to glitch or connect to is going to glitch upwards. if the light is on the top, it's going to glitch downwards or
Downwards.
reverse.
Right.
And
It's
that's why
up
you always,
opposite.
right, you always hear me refer to the auto switch as the reversal switch, because I'm using it to reverse glitch apart inwards, and
Right.
not going in the upward direction. I'm trying to force it through another part or blend it into another part. So I should just start calling that the blender switch. But there's oftentimes too where I'm shooting a part in the normal fashion, trying to go in an upward direction to blend it into something else. But I find that the reversal switch or the auto switch and the other toggle switch, um, you know, work best for a lot of applications, because that also comes with one forward-facing glitch point. So you have two reversals on either side, and then one forward glitch point on that switch, which gives you three different kind of really fun options to play with.
Right. Three
Yeah,
different
and
angles. Yeah.
yeah, and when following my streams, you see how I utilize these snap points. You're basically creating your own snap point using the electrical connectors, be it a switch, a pill light, a cube light, a floor light, another gas extractor, anything that has a plug on it can be used as a snap point.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And
so
they're
you
all different in certain ways, which is really kind
they
of cool.
do, yeah, they do react slightly different. And it's just a question of, this was the last thing I actually built until recently. My most recent thing is the most structural thing I've built other than my art installations, and my R&D stuff where I'm just noodling ideas. Um, because I spend so much time R&Ding and trying to figure out the build mechanic itself that I actually never end up having the time to build a structure like this. This was part of a. I had no choice. I had a time limit on this, and I had to finish it for. This is the PBF moon planet. There's a lot of planet cracking builds on this moon, so.
So I heard. So I've heard.
But
It's a
it's
thing of
reacting
myth
quite well for me. Yeah,
and
right.
legend. It's amazing to see this and how you've done it, and to hear your mind, work as to how you think of these ideas and put them into play and so on. Truly amazing. Like it just gives me so many ideas on how I can change things to make other things in the future to sort of suit
Yeah.
my needs, and
Well,
it's really awesome stuff.
that's
Like
that's really kind of why I do my live streams, to give people that inspiration, hopefully, to go. Well, I mean, look at these planters I made. That's a
I don't
grouping of
even,
stairs.
yeah, these are stairs.
That's stairs. That's all those are. It's a group of stairs put into a circular with an angle in a
Oh, they
certain
are.
fashion. Yeah, that I made into what looks like a planter bed.
That's
But
fantastic.
a little more sci-fi.
Yeah. But you see, it's seeing that. Wow, like that's unreal.
But
And you've got them positioned at all the different angles, so that even that takes some skill to get that, perfectly laid out.
yeah, but I've shown how to make these, in all of my streams again while I'm streaming. My streams are generally pretty lengthy, but they're usually fun and goofy, and there's usually good people, bantering in chat, and I always am willing to answer questions if I can and show and demonstrate techniques when possible. If you have a question in one of my streams, always feel free to ask. Um,
I've noticed that about
but
your streams. You're always very friendly and willing to drop whatever you're doing to just
oh heck yeah,
just answer a question, even if it's a simple
yeah,
one.
yeah. If you're like, I'm new to building and I can't figure out how to flip something over. Here, I do that constantly, man. I can do it for you super quick and show you how to do it.
Yeah, and I love that
um,
about you and the
and
PBF
Beeble
community,
and
and
yeah,
really all of the
and PB,
community is
yeah,
that way. I rarely see a streamer who's just not happy to help or to share.
yeah,
You know, one of the greatest things I love about this community.
yeah. And if you come over here real quick, this is some of the little detaily stuff I wanted to start peppering around the build. Was like, this little,
Little
you
desk.
know, little desk with this little station on it. I have this little, mini, computer thingy here.
Just by
you
resizing
know.
a few parts. Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
great
you
idea.
know.
I love how you did that. Oh, look at that. Looks like a
And I
little
think I
laptop.
got that, yeah, I probably got that idea from someone else, but, did my version of it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this is rendering way better than it used to. These orange screens used to, and actually that's another thing. You can tell how long someone's been playing sometimes by the parts that they have.
Yeah.
A lot of people who just started playing don't have these orange screens anymore. And one of my new saves, I don't have the orange screens because
Yeah,
they
they
don't
took them
exist
away.
anymore.
Yeah.
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 I also have these corner desks, which a lot of people don't have. These right here, these lit desks.
Oh, I didn't know they even took
So,
them out of the game. They did?
yeah, a lot of
Son of
people
a...
don't have them. Yeah,
Oh, man. I like those desks.
yeah, I do too. They're great.
Yeah, I
And
used them
I
heavily.
and I think there was some save where they had taken those away, and some people were like, "How do you have those? Where do you get those?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've just had them forever."
Yeah, they took them away, and I didn't realize that. I
Yeah,
hadn't made a desk in a little while. It shows, obviously.
yeah. Now
Yeah.
under here, you can kind of see through the glass flooring by Flurb and Derb here.
Yeah.
Although I think they might be mating. It might just be Flurb right now. Yeah, it looks like just Flurb. But you can see there was more I wanted to do. I had an idea for a charging station for the bees down here,
Yeah.
which involved the bite beat. Um, and unfortunately, I put four of the bite beats in, and the whole build just went wacky with the render. I'm going to give it another shot just to see because I used
Since
to
the
walk
update.
down the hallway. Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
walk back from the mechanical room down at the end of the hallway back into here, and the whole wall would disappear, like all the stairs and the windows and everything. You'd only see some pill lights floating there, and then it would pop in and render. Now it stays put. The whole thing actually renders in nicely. I'm walking around, nothing's popping in or
Yeah.
out.
It
I'm
stays. You're
very
right.
pleased. Yeah. Again, I had more thoughts and more ways to finish off some of the spaces that were a little dead space, and give the base again more life. I'd love to see when you build your science guy or your construction guy or your weapons guy, that they actually, when someone visits, are there for them, so that when you walk in, there's, some form of life and animation and, again, to not have that really cool looking shell, but then you walk in and you're like, okay, I guess the construction company just up and left, or the designers quit, and the interior decorators, they couldn't hire one or something. Back before Beyond, I used to do a lot of base tours, and I'd come across these really great looking shells of a base, and nothing decorated. I'm like, well, this is really neat, but I'm not feeling the environment right now. I'm not feeling your build.
Oh, you must have come
I'm not.
across one of my bases.
But at the same time, back then, it was much more difficult to put that amount of effort into your build. I used to specifically try to break the game. I would use tons and tons of glass and cuboid rooms, and, I would build through terrain and do all kinds of crazy
Push
stuff
those limits. Yeah.
and push the limits, and I continue to do that now, with, blending the parts together to get, what you're seeing, you
Did
know.
you ever get through the planet back before
You can't.
Next?
You can't. You never were able to. You would always hit what I call the beach layer. It kind of looks like sand. Ooh, thank you for reminding me. My vape battery just finished charging. I did that whole interview without my THC vape. Um, but what was I saying? I'm sorry. I got a squirrel moment there.